So I did it. I quit my job with no backup plan, no next job lined up, and no safety net. Me walking away from a steady paycheck going into the unknown. And you know what? It was the best decision I've ever made in my career. Sometimes quitting without a plan is exactly what you need to reset and refocus your career. In this video, I'm going to explain why I quit without no backup plan, how it was the best decision I'd ever made, and how it led to me doubling my salary. And this could be the right move for you too. For those of you that are new to this channel, my name's Tariq. I'm a product and technology leader at one of the world's largest investment banks. My career has had a series of twists and turns over the 20 years I've been working in the corporate world to now get to a point where I am in executive leadership, and I want to share the journey that I've been on, but also the tips that can help accelerate your career. And sometimes this means quitting. This means hard quitting with no backup plan, and that can really transform and pivot your career. So why did I quit? Well, I was at a crossroads really at the time when this happened. I didn't hate my job. It wasn't a terrible job. I could do it day to day, but over time it just felt like it became a grind, like I'd switched my brain off and I was going through the motions. I wasn't really growing in this job. I couldn't really see this job also taking me somewhere that I wanted to be if I thought about 5 years in the future. And at the same time, it didn't give me the headspace and the headroom to do that thinking, because it was a 9 to 5, really full-on operational role where I was just churning out. I was another cog in the machine, so to speak. And really at this point, it was grinding down on me, and I was getting to a point where I couldn't wake up in the morning to think about going into work, and that whole thing was just becoming dreadful for me. So it was affecting my mental health as well. But that is the reason why it was the best choice to make, to leave the job and focus on refocusing it. I knew I needed more. I knew I needed more challenges, more goals, and more alignment to where I want to be. And I was not going to get that in this job. But at the same time, with that lack of headspace and that lack of thinking, I wasn't able to move forward or have space to move forward and find out what to do next. So here's the thing. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a next step, a next job lined up. But if I knew that if I stayed in this job, I would remain stuck. And sometimes when you've hit that wall, the best thing to do to break through it is just to completely cut yourself off from it and move on and quit. So I'm not saying that quitting without a backup plan is the right thing to do all the time. Obviously, you need to have the space to do this properly, but at the same time, there are situations where quitting without a backup plan is absolutely the right thing to do, and that's what we're going to discuss in this video. So firstly, if you're feeling burnt out and you feel like you've lost your passion for work, that is often a sign that it's time to move on from this job that you're in. And really, quitting could be the best thing for you at this point. If you feel that you're really struggling to get through the day, but also you're not having that time at the end of the day to do productive life stuff or to do pursuits of your own choosing. It could be hobbies or, catching up with friends, but you're just feeling so exhausted from work that you need to just stay indoors and rest and isolate yourself, then that is a sign that you need to move on from this job. This job is not making you productive and giving you the energy and that sort of high that you need, job satisfaction, to then propel yourself into the world at large and connect with people. Also, when you're burnt out and you're in this sort of cycle of not feeling happy in your workplace and losing that passion, it leads to poor performance and it leads to poor results. So you're only in a negative cycle here where you are going to perform badly, then get bad feedback, and then have to make changes, but then you're going to be in a cycle where you can't do this. Another thing that's important when you're planning to quit your job as well is to think about the growth opportunities where you are. And a lot of the times you may feel that you're stuck, and it could be the realistic answer is that you are stuck. There's no way for you to go forward. There's no promotion up, there's no promotion sideways, there's no learning opportunities. I can't learn new skills. I'm not getting courses signed off that I want my employer to pay for, or you're feeling like you're completely stuck in stasis. And this is not good for your career at all. And if you're in this position, I don't recommend anyone stay in this position longer than a year and a half, really a year, as in a year and then take another half year to look for a job to move to. But really, even a year in stasis is a long time. And especially with the way skills are transforming now and the way careers are transforming, you really want to be able to look around every year and think about where it is that is hot right now in terms of skills and where you are in relation to that. So if you're feeling like you've hit a wall and really this wall is impenetrable, you cannot see yourself in a year's time getting promoted or even getting some form of extra responsibility or something that will look good for you and valuable for you, then you have to leave. There is no other choice in the matter if you want career growth. If you're happy just to stay still and that's your career goal, and that's fine, but that's not what this channel is about. This channel is all about growth. And if you want to grow, then you need to quit that job. Another big aspect of quitting your job with no backup plan is if you are in a toxic work environment. And toxic work environments can be so impactful and detrimental to your mindset, but also to your day-to-day life. And it seeps through every aspect of your life. So in a toxic workplace, you may be working with co-workers who are untrustworthy, who are undervaluing you and putting you down. You may have a manager who micromanages you or takes accountability and takes your work off you, effectively highlighting the work you've done as their own. It could even be the culture of the actual company. It could be just a culture that's very negative and there's a lot of backstabbing and there's a lot of sort of work that is really helping you, well, not helping you, I should say. Work that is really draining you and leaving you feeling like you are literally stuck in a place where anything can happen at any moment, and you're fearful. Effectively, in a toxic environment, you feel frightened and you go into this fight or flight response effectively, so you don't feel safe. And that is really important to walk away from. It doesn't matter, what situation you're in with work, but you need to find a way to walk away from that. And if you're fortunate enough to walk away without a backup plan and walk away from the paycheck, then do it and give yourself that headspace to find something that you truly deserve. So when I quit my job and thought about moving on with no backup plan, I had to leave rented accommodation and move back in with my parents. But for me, I knew that was the best thing for me in my mindset, because I wanted to pivot my career. I wanted to grow in a different direction and I needed time to do that. And I was able to move back in with my parents and have that space to do it. And I knew it was temporary. It's not something I wanted to do forever, but it was the right thing to do for me. And I feel that doing that gave me the chance to learn new skills. So at the time, I always knew I wanted a creative job, but I was stuck working on an IT help desk, just answering calls, churning out tickets and resolving those for people, and really doing that on repeat every day. And I knew I wanted a creative job. I wanted to still work in technology, but have a creative angle to it. And at the time, I realized there was a link between digital marketing and technology. And I thought, let's transition myself into that space. And to do that, I had to learn new skills. I had to go on lots of courses, go to events in digital marketing. But I really spent the time when I'd left the job to try and get myself into that mindset. So I understood the vocabulary, but I understood what I could bring to that industry. And then the journey to then go on and find a job there. Obviously, it's not an easy journey, but it's one that I was determined to make. And if you're determined enough and persistent enough, it will pay off. And in the end, because I was going to a job that was trending at the time, I effectively doubled my salary from being on a help desk to being a digital marketing executive, coming in at a sort of entry level there. It was doubling my salary, which was incredible at the time. But that was just to show you what happens when you go towards trending careers and you try and make your move, where there's an overlap, of course, between where you can start transitioning to a trending job. You can really impact and accelerate your career, but also your salary. Your salary goes up exponentially. So try to not think of it as a linear activity. Your job search should really be something that's exponential. And if you're feeling like that, then you need to quit. The whole point is give yourself the space to get that exponential growth. And you can only do that sometimes by quitting. If you're able to do that by quitting and having a backup plan, that's fine. If you're able to look for a job whilst you're in your current job and learn new skills, which is extremely difficult to do, but if you have that capability in that space, then that's amazing. But a lot of us didn't or don't have that in our lives, so we have to make a clean break and move forward from that. So what I'm trying to say is having a backup plan isn't always needed, and it isn't always reckless. You know, quitting your job is not a reckless thing to do if you haven't got somewhere else lined up, but it can also be a learning experience, and it's something you can embrace to help pivot your career or give yourself a reset and think about your value and where you want to go and start putting you on the right course. So if you're feeling stuck and drained and just paralyzed in terms of growth, then walking away might be the right thing for you to do. And I want you to know that it is the right thing to do, and you will come out of it successfully. Because I promise you, when you have that space with clear mind, only good things can come from it. If this video has resonated with you, I'm all about career growth, and I'd love you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and learn more about my career journey, but also the tips that I can help for you to grow your career and to move forward in the right way. Learn skills that will help you become a leader, but also to communicate and sell your worth and start to build your personal brand to make you successful and ultimately increase your income. So stay tuned for more videos in this space. See you in the next one.